The Heralds of the Stormlight Archive. Who are they? Where did they come from? And what do they mean in the story? Let's find out. Hey guys, it's Christian from Lost in Discovery. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the Heralds from the Stormlight Archive. Before we start anything, if you are new to the Stormlight Archive, if you've not even read a page of it, you're welcome to watch this video. If you're completely up to date, you'll also gain enjoyment from watching this video. So the Stormlight Archive is a planned 10-book epic fantasy series, and it all starts here with The Way of Kings. And as you can tell, this book is a chunky book. It is over 1,000 pages, and it starts with a prelude that happens 4,500 years before our main story even kicks off. And in this prelude, there are characters called Heralds. They're very important to the story, but because you're given so much information elsewhere, all of this stuff can go in one ear and out the other, and you kind of miss the significance and the importance of them. When I was reading The Way of Kings, I got a bit confused about who the Heralds were and what was their purpose in the story. The things that caused me to do this was a lot of different societies in the world of Roshar call them different names, and they have different ideas about them, and I was kind of like, what is going on with these guys? I've done all the work for you. If you're new to the series, if you know about the series, if you're up to date on the series, I'm going to tell you about the history of the Heralds, who they are, and what is their purpose on the world of Roshar. So where did the Heralds come from? Firstly, I'll tell you about the reason they came to be. On the planet of Roshar, there are these cataclysmic events called desolations. Desolations would have all these evil creatures and spirits and entities attack the human race on Roshar. It would completely wipe them out and kind of send them back to square one. One of the gods of Roshar, known as Honor or the Almighty, didn't like what was happening here, and he wanted the humans to stand a chance. So he chose 10 different humans and gave them certain powers and abilities, naming them Heralds. This created the Oathpact, and the Oathpact basically says, Heralds, it's your job to protect humanity when there are desolations, these crazy cataclysmic events. Though there are a few caveats to this deal, I wouldn't have agreed to it myself because it's pretty rough what you have to do as a Herald. As a Herald, you get to protect humanity during a desolation. You may die in these battles. If you die, you are sent to this other planet called Braze. On this planet, you are tortured. It's unknown exactly what they are tortured by, but they are tortured nonetheless. If you survive the desolation as a Herald, you still have to volunteer, go to Braze, and be tortured. Why would anybody do this, you're probably thinking? Well, the reason they do this is it kind of puts off the evil spirits, the evil creatures coming back to Roshar and attacking humanity. The longer they hold out is the longer the gap is between the next desolation. That's the basic function of the Heralds. So now you've got a bit of an idea about what's going on with the Heralds and what's their purpose. Now I want to talk to you about how all of that changes in the Prelude to the Stormlight Archive. In the Prelude to the Stormlight Archive, we are following the perspective of Kalak, and Kalak is a Herald who has just finished the battle of a giant desolation on Roshar. He's overlooking the death and destruction that this has caused, and he is tired and he is sick of having to do this over and over a span of millennia. I want to read you a bit of a description from that chapter now. When he died, he was sent back. No choice. When he survived the desolation, he was supposed to go back as well. Back to that place he dreaded. Back to that place of pain and fire. What if he just decided not to go? So we're following Kalak in this prelude, and he's kind of so done with having to go back to Braze and get tortured for however long he can hold out. And by this time the Heralds are getting really exhausted by doing this, and there's only like 2-year gaps between the desolations. They are unable to withstand the torture for so long. And after the desolations, they kind of all stick their swords into a giant circle to kind of acknowledge their part and that they're still alive and have kind of fulfilled the Oathpact. He walks up to the circle and he sees that a sword is missing. The sword that is missing belongs to Talon, a different Herald. So he has died in this battle and he's off in Braze getting tortured. This is where Kalak starts to get an idea. He starts talking to another Herald named Jezrin during this scene. They're both exhausted, they both can't do this anymore. and they decide, you know what, we're not going to volunteer and go to Braze to be tortured. We're just going to leave Talon and he can carry it on his shoulders. What do we tell the people, Jezrien? Kalik asked. What will they say of this day? It's simple, Jezrien said, walking away. We tell them that they finally won. It's an easy enough lie. Who knows? Maybe it will turn out to be true. So this is the turning point where the Heralds betray the Oathpact. The 9 remaining ones on Roshar live out their lives on the planet, whilst Talon is off on Braze getting tortured. Now the Prelude cuts here and jumps 4,500 years to the current day in Roshar, and there has not been a desolation since. So the Herald Talon has been on Braze for 4,500 years, enduring torture and horrible things for that long, just to stop a desolation coming to Roshar. So that's generally the idea of where the story of the Heralds kicks off in the first book, The Way of Kings. The Heralds are talked about a lot in the story, but we also have the Knights Radiant. The Knights Radiant are people who started to get similar powers to the Heralds, but not at the same level. There are different types of Knights Radiant who have certain powers that identify with one certain Herald. That Herald will take that group of Knights Radiant under their wing and kind of train them. And as they betray the Oathpact, they kind of say, you know what, at least the humans have the Radiants. The Radiants should be able to take care of them. So that's the difference between the Heralds and the Radiants. Heralds were given their powers by the god Honor. Knights Radiants got their powers organically for a certain reason that I won't get into now. They are not kind of immortal beings, the Heralds are. So that's my basic introduction to who the Heralds are in the Stormlight Archive. If you are up to date in the series and a bit more well versed in the Stormlight Archive and would like a more detailed look at the Heralds, what are they doing now, what's going on with them, and what's happening with the current situation on Roshar, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to do a more in-depth video about this and get into the nitty-gritty of what's happening in the story with the Heralds, because I find them such an interesting part of the overall Stormlight Archive, and I think that they have a major part to play in the overall endgame kind of events here. I've added credit to all the artists down below. These guys are freaking amazing about their depictions of these characters in the books. I had so much fun animating these pictures, trying to bring them to life as much as possible while staying true to the artist's vision. So please check them out. I hope you did enjoy what I did with those. If you did enjoy this video and want more Stormlight content, please do subscribe. I'm also talking about other fantasy books and entertainment in general. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, please do stick around and help this channel grow. I'd love to build a little community here. Please let me know what you thought of the video, drop a like if you did like it, and subscribe if you want more. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Christian from Lost in Discovery. I'll see you guys all in the next video.